Number 4, why did Hitler blame the Jews for Germany's problems? A, the Jews had helped the Allies defeat Germany in World War I. B, it was easy to blame all the country's problems on one minority group. C, Hitler had a bad incident with a Jewish classmate when he was a schoolboy. Or D, Hitler's parents were secretly Jewish. Yeah, don't vote. B. B is the best choice there. Yeah. Some of these answers hint at a possibility, like Hitler's parents being Jewish is a rumor that has floated around for years. There's not really any solid evidence that I've seen that his ancestors are Jewish, but that rumor still floats around, and that's not to suggest it's not true. It may be true. Number 5. Of the choices that you have there, A, B, C, or D, which one is the proper sequence in the following sequences? A, anti-Semitism begins in Europe. B, 6 million Jews are murdered. C, Hitler becomes or comes to power. Which one of the answer choices do you think is most correct?
C.
C. You know what? That's the one I answered first, and I forgot. It's a kind of a tricky question. We associate Hitler with starting anti-Semitism in Germany. Actually, he didn't start it. Anti-Semitism was in Germany before Hitler came to power. Hitler just made it more extreme and took it to a different extreme. So if C is not the best choice, which is the best choice, sir?
A.
A. A is the best choice here. So anti-Semitism was already active in Germany. Hitler just took it to a different extreme. Number 6, what is a quota? Of the answer choices you have there, which one do you think is the best choice? Someone that hasn't answered yet. What is a quota? Thank you, Dan. D. C. Particular violent form of anti-Semitism. No, that's not what a quota is. Quota can be, you've used this word before in other classes, and it's not any different here. Caleb?
B.
B is the correct answer. A limit on how many people are allowed to participate in something. Number 7, what effect did the Nuremberg laws have on Germany's Jewish population? Those answer choices, which is the best response, do you think? Nuremberg laws. What effect did they have on the Jewish population? What's the best answer choice here? Remember what the Nuremberg laws were? Rodolfo? A. Nuremberg laws, they forced the entire Jewish population to the concentration camps. Not immediately. That was later on. Jaya? B is the best answer choice. They restricted the rights of Jewish people. Number 8. What was the final solution? Who has an idea what the final solution was? Yvonne? D. Did you say D? That is correct. The Nazis planned to murder all European Jews. Yesterday, we talked about the Nazi government coming up with this plan to persecute the Jews, blame the Jews for Germany losing World War I. Today, a different question. What was the global response to the atrocities of the Holocaust? What did the world do about the Holocaust? What did they know? And how did they react to what they knew? Okay. That is pretty typical. Auschwitz wasn't the only concentration camp. It happened to be the largest one, but there were many others in other countries too, including Germany, in Poland, in Czechoslovakia. People were shipped there to be exterminated. I need a volunteer to take some survey numbers for me and mark them on the board for scenarios 1 through 8 up here. Do I have any volunteers to mark on the board? All right. The first scenario. Now I can read these. I'll probably read the longer ones just to get through it. Is there anyone that would like to read the first scenario? Sarah? Here.
The persecution of German Jews began with Adolf Hitler's rise to power in 1938. Facing the economic, social, and political oppression, thousands of German Jews found many countries willing to help them flee the Third Reich. Eventually, some 6 million Jews were rescued this way during World War II.
Thank you. I want you to consider whether that's a true scenario or a false scenario. How many think it's true by show of hands? How many think it's true as this was written? 1, 2, 1, 2, 2.5. Okay, how many think it's false? Just mark 2 down under true. How many think it's false? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Looks like majority is going for not true. And then there's some that I'm not quite sure how to vote. 32 nations attended, including the United States, Great Britain, France, Canada, and Australia. But only the Dominican Republic agreed to accept additional refugees. The conference failed to devise any practical solutions. Does this sound like something that actually happened or something that didn't happen exactly as you read it up here? How many think this happened as it's described? How many think it did not happen as described? Oh, a majority. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16. Put down 16 for not true. Sorry, not true. I want you to get a sense of what is happening in the world as a response to genocide or not happening in the world. The U.S. public and their response to persecution. Many Americans looked upon Jews favorably. They believed that new immigrants would work harder and cheaper than many Americans who had become fat and lazy. Leaders of movements including Father Charles E. Coughlin, the popular radio priest, and William Dudley Pelley's Silver Shirts promoted the idea of increasing immigration quotas for those born outside of the United States. In other words, to allow more immigrants in. How many of you think that is true as it's stated? Raise your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Just put 14. How many don't think that's true? 1, 2, 3. You voted twice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Thank you. 6. Okay, scenario 5 has to do with the voyage of a ship called the St. Louis. On May 13th, 1939, quick question, had World War II started at this point? May 1939?
No.
Oh, you guys are good. September 1939 is when it started. You guys are good. May 13th, 1939, the German transatlantic liner St. Louis sailed from Hamburg, Germany for Havana, Cuba, with 938 passengers. Almost all were Jews fleeing from Germany, hoping to immigrate to the U.S. Most were German citizens, some were from Eastern Europe, and a few were officially stateless. When the St. Louis arrived in Havana Harbor on May 27th, the Cuban government admitted all of the passengers who were eventually allowed to emigrate to the United States. How many of you think that is true? Factually true. How many of you think that is not quite true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Let's put 18 up there. I may have miscounted. 18 think it's not true. Scenario 6. International response to persecution. The world, globally. What did the world do or try to do? By September 1939, approximately 282,000 Jews had left Germany and 117,000 from annexed Austria. Of these, some 95,000 immigrated to the United States, 60,000 to Palestine, 40,000 to Great Britain, and about 75,000 to Central and South America, with the largest numbers entering Argentina, Brazil, Chile, and Bolivia in South America. More than 18,000 Jews from German Reich were also able to find refuge in Shanghai, China, that is, in Japanese-occupied China. How many think that's true? How many think it's false? Non-believers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 for not true. 3, to develop a plan to rescue the victims of Nazi atrocities. The emergency community and its supporters in Congress helped publicize the Holocaust and the need for the United States to react. How many of you think that's all true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 think it's true. How many think it's not true? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that leaves a lot of people that are unsure. All right. I would like everyone to, when I ask you to stand up, I'm going to ask you to turn your desk 90 degrees to your right and face that forward. Please stand up, turn your desk 90 degrees to your right. The first scenario was a false scenario, and I have given you the correct scenario. The second scenario was a false scenario. I have given you the corrected scenario. You have all of the corrected scenarios. Scenario 3 was a true one. Oh, thank you, India. You want to go through that again? 1 is false, 2 is false, 3 is T, 4 is F, 5 is F, 6 is T, 7 is T, and 8 is T. How'd you guys do? Let's see.
We did bad.
Here's what I want you to do with your partner. You have the corrected responses, the corrected scenarios in your hands. I want you to look at those, go through those, and there are 3 questions or 4 questions on the back?
3.
There are 3 questions on the back. I want you to do your best to answer. Regarding these scenarios, what was the world response? What should it have been? What could it have been to persecution, Jewish persecution? Let's focus on that one question right now. What could the United States government have done in response to the Nazi persecution of Jews? What were some of the barriers to the United States helping more? Yes, Sarah?
It was all the way across the ocean.
Okay, look at scenario 2. Yeah, distance was a problem. Transportation being a problem, right? Scenario 2 suggests yet another problem. Immigration quotas. Very restrictive in the United States. It says the Americans really didn't support immigration, especially of Jews. Other scenarios suggest that the American public didn't feel that Jews would bring a lot to America and help America out by supporting themselves. So immigration quotas prevented the United States from taking in a lot of Jews here. If you see, let's see, scenario 4, many Americans looked upon Jews unfavorably. Some believe that the country lacked the resources to accommodate newcomers. A much more threatening sign was the presence of anti-Semitic leaders and American fringe groups, including a Catholic priest and another gentleman who led a group called the Silver Shirts, who promoted the idea that limiting citizenship to promoting the idea of limiting citizenship to those born outside the United States. Okay, so the American public did not support providing a place for Jews before World War II to avoid persecution in Germany. Other countries were like the United States in their thinking as well. It was very difficult for Jews. Some of you said yesterday, what would you do if you were in their situation? You would say, leave. And many Jews had that idea. They wanted to leave. It was just they had nowhere to go. No country was willing to take large numbers of Jews in. Yeah.
They could make like an underground railroad, kind of like what happened here. They could kind of do that to the other countries.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and that's
only take what's necessary in your family, so you would be able to stay and like not have a big group of people.
You're absolutely right, and that did happen. Sort of a European underground railroad. You know the story of Anne Frank, right?
Yeah.
All right. She was taken in, she and her family were taken in by a Dutch family in a sort of an underground railroad scenario. And they stayed with this family for an extended period of time before they were actually caught.